Good morning. Welcome back to another adaptation. I'm Alex, and again, these are put on by the Adaptive Training Foundation. So we have a treat for you today because you get to meet Deb the Wildcat herself. Deb is a stroke survivor, and before we go to meet Deb, how about we take a look at what a stroke is? This is our anatomical model. Today's lesson is going to be faster than the other weeks, but we'll begin by adding in nerves and our arterial system. We're going to not include the veins because we don't want to confound the model here. And in the nature of that, we'll also take away the skeleton. So now let's zoom in a little bit and we get this nice picture of how the nervous system and the circulatory system interact with one another. And just in case you guys are wondering, this is the pericardial sac around the heart. And we get this nice image from the folks over at 3D4 Medical, who have chosen to keep the heart beating for us, which is very nice. And so now let's move on to the lesson for today. We'll begin by making a window into what we need to be looking at. Oh, that's actually pretty good. And now we can see inside the brain itself, and inside the skull where the brain is, there are two primary blood flow supplies. One comes from the carotid artery, and I think we're all familiar with that. Most people, because of Hollywood, know it to be in the neck, but it ends here in the brain. And then we also have the vertebral arteries on the right and on the left. But these are the two blood flow sources for the brain. And so Deb had been having surgery on her carotid artery in her neck. And the surgery was successful, but when she was in recovery, she suffered an aneurysm, resulting in stroke, and then also resulting in left hemiplegia, which is pretty common with strokes, but that's where the left side of your body becomes paralyzed. So let's take a quick look at what an aneurysm is. So Deb had what we call a cerebral hemorrhage, specifically just because it was in the brain itself, right? And that was caused, again, from an aneurysm, which is a thinning of the arterial wall until the pressure buildup is so great that it actually splits and starts bleeding into the brain itself. And that caused significant brain damage, which is, again, why she became hemiplegic on the left side, which, again, is paralysis. But let's watch this video really quick to see what this looks like. And then that last image there would be the blood pooling in the brain. But let's look at that one more time. So all the pressure, the artery splits, and then the brain bleed occurs. And so again, that's an aneurysm, and this is what happened to Deb. So let's go talk to Deb and find out what she wants to show us today. Hey, Deb. How you doing?
Alex. I'm doing great. How about you, bud?
Hey, doing pretty good. Feeling blessed and just getting stuff done, so.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, absolutely.
So tell the world a little bit about Deb. Deb Wildcat, as we call you at the gym.
Wildcat Deb. About 4.5 years ago, I had a blocked carotid artery on the right side. And after my endarterectomy to remove that and clean it out, I had a brain bleed 4 days later, which apparently is very, very rare. So that ended up with a craniotomy, a tracheotomy, and a feeding tube. I couldn't sit up without somebody in the bed with me holding me up. I just fell over. I say timber and just go.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to recover from that?
Well, I was in inpatient rehab for 6 weeks. I got my walking back. And I was in day neuro for about 6 months. And I got more things back. I was able to drive when I left there.
Wow.
I still have function in my left arm. I can move it, but it's just not functional movement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on that. That's going to come. I've read that the more severe your injury, the longer it takes for it to come back.
Yeah.
So apparently with only 3% chance of living, mine was pretty serious. My family was told to get me a skilled nursing facility because I would have no functional life.
That's insane.
It is.
Look at you now.
And look at me now. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been surfing. I've been running. I've been doing so many things. Paddleboarding, rock climbing. Yeah, you can't let people determine your own destiny. You just can't take hope away from anybody, because we defy impossible every day at ATF.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Wow.
some of the issues I've been left with is coordination and agility and my range of motion, which I work on just passively every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to strengthen my shoulder and my scapulas all the time. And do that.
That's good. That's really good.
And then because it's a brain injury, the more repetitive motions that you can do, the more it builds those neural pathways back.
Yes.
So I try to do that, just repeating things, and try not to learn non-use, and find as many things as I can that I used to do with my arm, and try to incorporate as much as I possibly can.
That's really good advice. That's really good. Look at you. We're so proud of you over at ATF, like how far you've come and everything you've accomplished. So what are you going to show the world? What are you going to show other people like yourself, and maybe give them some inspiration and some hope?
Well, because my hand's not real functional, one of the things that I use is an adaptive hand, which is actually for weightlifting. And it allows me to wrap my hand around things that just Velcros on. So I've got a 5-pound weight in it today.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm at the gym, I can strap it onto cables and weightlifting bars and that kind of thing. And I've also found some other things like wrist weights that you can use, but I can show you how to do that later if you want.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So this one just goes on the thumb and wraps around with Velcro. It just gives you a couple of pounds of weight just to give you some more weight bearing on it.
That's good. I mean, that's pretty functional. You can do all your movements, but have just a little extra load.
And they're really inexpensive. They're like $10 at Walmart.
Wow. Hey, look at that. Walmart coming through with the win.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
All
so
right.
I think first thing I'm going to show you is I do aerobic steps just to help my gait and my agility.
Okay.
I'll do that with you. You can also do it for heart rate.
Uh-huh.
You can change speed as you go for a while. Change every 30 seconds or so.
On stepping backwards too. That's good.
And you can do lateral movements with it as well.
Good. So I'll talk a little bit while you keep doing that. Walking backwards often assists walking forwards. And anything that Deb can do to challenge her vestibular system, her balance, her proprioception, just helps return function.
And something else I'd like to show you, are you ready for that?
Sure, yeah.
Is I like to do planking because it's a whole body exercise. It really strengthens your arms, your quads, and your shoulders, and your scapulas, and your legs, and glutes, everything. It's just a full body exercise, and it uses your entire butt core.
That's great. So while you're doing that, so I really like that you're planking with your active hand on, because for everyone watching, that's going to help provide just a little bit of extra support at the wrist. And that's like the further away from her shoulder that Deb gets, the more reduction in function she has. And the fact that she's on that weight, pressing through her knuckles, it's going to a little bit more stability, and it's going to load the joint. The more you can load a joint, the more you can help convince the body that it's stable. And the more stable you show the body that a joint is, the more function you get in it. I mean, that's just kind of a little life hack, Deb, that you're showing the world here. Stiffness or lack of flexibility or lack of mobility is very rarely an actual tissue problem, and more of your joint doesn't trust that range of motion. And if you can weight bear through the joint, and it just takes a long time. Joints have a quarter of the blood flow as everything else. But if you keep consistently weight bearing through the joint, multiple times a week, 3, 4, 5 times a week for very short durations, but many, many, many sets, over time function comes back. And that's something that we do at ATF. So, Deb, that's awesome. Thanks for showing us that.
I was going to show you one more thing
Okay.
I've been doing recently.
And what's that? What is it?
I've been doing adaptive boxing.
Wow. Okay. How did you get started in that?
I also work with a neuro trainer that she helps me try to build those pathways back up with repetitive movements.
How did you find that neural trainer?
Through my inpatient rehab.
Good.
She was also quadriplegic and a paraplegic herself.
Wow.
It was actually through the support group that I help with every month.
Oh, okay. So your support group hook you up.
Mm-hmm. I'm part of the support group.
Okay.
The board.
And if people who are watching wanted to get in touch with you on that support group, how would they do that?
On Facebook, I put Frisco Brainwaves.
Frisco Brainwaves.
Yeah, it's a support group page.
Frisco Brainwaves on Facebook. And also Adaptive Training Foundation on Facebook.
Awesome. So yeah, I don't remember what they're really called. They're jabs or crosses or what. But we do the 1-2 punches, which is 1, 2, 1, 2.
Good.
1, 2, 1, 2. Now my 3 is kind of weird. I'll pull it up and go 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
This is awesome.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, so since what are they called? I forgot what they're called. 1, 2. Sorry. 3, 4.
Yes.
1, 2. Slip, slip. 3, 4. 1, 2. Slip, slip. 3, 4. 1, 2. 3, 4. 1, 2. Slip, slip. 3, 4. 1, 2. Slip, slip.
How about you tell people what this neural boxing is going to help you do, and also tell people how long you're going to be practicing it.
I've been doing it for about a year now. It should help with repetitive movements, especially with the weight on it, just to get something active and brain waves and pathways recreated.
Perfect. That was really good. That was pretty cool. And even though your arm, wasn't moving very much, you were getting movement in.
I'm getting movement out of it more and more every time.
Yeah.
The targets like we were in for the hip over here now.
Oh, okay. And like we like to say at ATF, if it moves, you can train it. You don't need a lot of movement. You just need a little bit. A little bit of movement, and it's trainable.
We all got here in different ways, and we're all going to get to our goals in different ways as well.
That's right. That's awesome. Thanks for showing us that.
Absolutely.
All
They
right.
keep working.
Yeah, go get it, girl. All right. Have a great workout.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.